Hello everyone and welcome back to Retro Haven. So this is the time for us to look at the Resident Evil 3 ports. This game surprisingly did not have that much of the ports compared to Resident Evil 1, but it still had its fair share of surprises when it comes to porting this amazing game to the other systems. So without further ado, this is Daniel from Retro Haven and welcome to another Resident Evil 3 retrospective. So the first port that we are going to talk about is Microsoft Windows, and we have a ton to deal with in this case. Actually, there are three different ports for Microsoft Windows for Resident Evil 3. The first Windows port for Resident Evil 3 was created by a third-party company called MediaKite. This port was released in 2000. The output resolution for this port was much higher than what we had in PlayStation, and you could see the game come to life in 640 to 480 pixels. So in year 2000, to run this huge game, you needed 250 megabytes of space inside your storage, and you should have at least 48 megabytes of RAM, but the suggested megabytes of RAM was actually 64. Jokes aside, this game was not a technical marvel even back then, and by the time it was released for Windows, many other games with higher graphic and higher output was there in the market. And it was a little bit disappointing to see a game great like that was released so late that it would lose many of its audience. Another third-party company was there to release Resident Evil 3 for Windows 98 as well, and this company was Eidos. Eidos port was a lot better than what we had before. In this game, the improvements were not limited to the screen resolution, and tons of outfits as well as the mercenaries mode were available to you at the beginning of the game. Many of the people in my generation know this game on Windows using this version. At the year 2000, when this game was released, the game was massacred by the critics. Yeah, as I said before, this game was released so late that many people have been moved on to the next generation of the gaming. But this game was not that empty. The reason that you had the mercenaries available right after installing was that the Capcom was recording the progress and had a kind of high score community for Resident Evil 3. The game also had an original mode as well as an arranged mode, and both of them had easy and hard mode, which were called heavy mode for hard mode and light mode for easy mode. But despite all these things, the reception of the game did not make it a groundbreaking achievement for Capcom. Finally, after a long time, a Japanese company came to rescue and released the best Windows version so far. SourceNext was a known company by then, and they have released Resident Evil 3 on PC on a manner that everybody in the world who have played this version believes that this version is the best by far. The FMVs had much higher quality compared to other PC versions, but the main resolution of the game was still 640 by 480. Still, the release date of the game was 2006. And guess what was released on 2006? PlayStation 3. Yes, it was released so late that 2 more generations of game was laying around and showing the ugliness of the graphic to the players who were willing to pay the amount to buy this game. But for hardcore fans, it was a gem nonetheless. One of the saddest things of 2000 was the Dreamcast for me. This console was way ahead of any other competitor, but was smashed inside the market because of things that Sega got wrong in the market. You could play arranged mode on this version, and this version also had the options to go online and check the Resident Evil 3 Last Escape. The game was released in both Japan and Western markets at the year 2000. All the costumes from PlayStation and PC versions were available there. At the same time, the Mercenaries mode was unlocked from the beginning. So, if you wanted to experience something like the Windows port on a console, Dreamcast was your home. Finally, in the year 2003, the last version of this game was released on a console. GameCube had this game available for the users, but the problem was that it was too late. Many people were complaining why they have to pay full price for a game that is clearly an artifact. The graphics were outdated, and many things inside the game was so bulky by the time that people were not that amazed by the GameCube version. But speedrunners still love this version beyond any other version. Still, even as a hardcore fan, I understand why people were mad. Games like Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 Remake were available on the same console. So, with the same price, they could go for the games that were much better than Resident Evil 3 in terms of graphic, gameplay, and anything else. Finally, when digital distribution was available, Resident Evil 3 were available on almost everything that had access to PSN and Xbox Live. But no matter how, you have no excuse not to play this masterpiece. Just shut your brain off for some time and believe that you are a time traveler. You got back to the latest days of the previous century, and then you will enjoy and appreciate what they have done with this game, and you will know why it holds a special place in the hearts of people like me and you. With that said, this is Daniel from Retrohaven, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Please like the video and share it with your friends because it brings a lot to our channel, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you, peace, and out.